Joining me now to discuss further is Dave Aronberg, state attorney for Palm Beach County in Florida. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So my first question to you, what are possible reasons for the delay in former President Trump's possible indictment? And do you think we hear anything today at all?
It's hard to tell when we're going to hear something. And I think the only reason why people think there's a problem now and there's a delay is because Donald Trump came up with this invented Tuesday indictment. That was not on anyone's schedule except for Donald Trump's. And so that's why people think, hey, now there must be a problem. To me, there is no report or any indication that there's any issue. And I think an indictment will come within the next week or two. Because when you're dealing with a historic matter like this, if you're Alvin Bragg, a first-term DA, you want to make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. You want to leave nothing to chance. So that's why you see this lengthy period. And it's been on and off, this investigation, for 5 years. And by the way, I saw that clip from Alan Dershowitz. He was my law professor in law school.
Really?
Criminal law. Yeah, and he was a great professor, and I have a lot of respect for him. But he is very wrong on this point, because Michael Cohen, I'm old enough to remember when he was indicted for this same matter. And then there's 60 other people in the last 4 years who have been charged for falsifying business records in New York.
And, you take me to my next point about, so you do think an indictment will come, because grand juries rarely decline to indict, right? I mean, if the district attorney's office thought they were in danger of the grand jury saying no, would they have paused proceedings? I mean, this continuing into week 2, does this tell you that an indictment is coming? It's just a matter of when?
I think the indication that an indictment was coming was when the DA's office extended an invitation to Donald Trump to testify. That usually comes at the very end of a grand jury investigation. You ask the target of the investigation to testify when you're about to indict him, because otherwise, if you're not about to indict him, then you're not asking him to come by. And Trump said no, which was to be expected. The fact also that Michael Cohen testified at the end, he would be the punctuation mark. And so all indications are that he will be indicted. And I know this is a historic matter and people are going crazy over the fact that it's our first former president ever indicted. But keep in mind, he's not going to, Alvin Bragg will not be the last DA to indict Donald Trump. I think this indictment will be followed by an indictment in Fulton County, Georgia. And then the federal government, I think, is going to indict Trump over the Mar-a-Lago documents and also possibly over January 6th.
Yeah. And I do want to, let's talk about Alvin Bragg for a second. The Manhattan DA received a threatening letter over the weekend. I believe there was a white substance in there as well. What are the potential consequences of threatening a prosecutor in an ongoing case such as this?
Oh, it's a crime if you threaten a prosecutor. The person who sent that white powder and sent the threat, if he's caught, he's going to be prosecuted. Now, as far as Trump is concerned, I don't think that Trump's inflammatory rhetoric has crossed the line yet to a crime. I think he's getting close to it, but it hasn't happened. The crime of incitement or corruption by threat, I don't think it's there yet. But where it could lead to problems for Trump is if he's indicted, then a judge will issue the terms for his pretrial release. Trump doesn't want to be held in jail pending trial. So as a condition of this pretrial release, the judge could say, no more attacking prosecutors, and you have to be limited on your use of the internet. If he does that, that sets up a trap for Trump, because if Trump violates those terms, he could be waiting trial from a jail cell. So Trump needs to be careful in what he says, even though as of yet, I don't think he has crossed the line into a crime.
Okay, and I know he has talked about potential death, destruction, violent protests. How should the very real possibility of those kinds of widespread protests play into the grand jury's decision here, or even the DA's decision to continue with this case? I mean, is that something that they have to weigh when we have seen this happen before?
No, as a prosecutor, and Alvin Bragg is my counterpart in Manhattan, we are ethically bound to follow the facts and the law. You can't consider political considerations. You have to tune out the noise. And Alvin Bragg, actually, I think, has been good about that in the past. Remember, a year ago, he decided against charging Donald Trump for financial crimes and got a lot of criticism for it. Bragg didn't think the evidence rose to the level of prosecuting Trump, and he did what he's supposed to do. So I think he's battle-hardened, and he's only going to make his decisions based on the law and the evidence and nothing else.
And Dave, you also know Trump suggested that Alvin Bragg should drop the charges against him. Is that likely to happen?
No, and even though Trump says he's exonerated or it's the grand jury investigation is over, that's wishful thinking on the former president's part. This investigation has been referred to as the zombie theory because it just won't die. It's been going on for 5 years, on and off, starts and stops, and here is about time to reach its fruition. And look, the grand jury is going to make the decision. And the standard for indicting is just probable cause. It's not beyond any reasonable doubt. It's just probable cause, which is a much lower burden, and you only need a majority of the grand jurors. So if you ask me if it's likely, I say yes, and I think it's coming soon.
Okay, well, Dave Aronberg, state attorney for Palm Beach County in Florida, we always appreciate your time, and I'm sure this is not the last time that you and I will be talking this week. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.